Hey guys, today we're visiting family friends Chris and Caroline. They're going to tell us all about how they produce birch syrup for their beautiful family of 12. Y'all stay tuned.
This has been boiling down all afternoon and has been replenished a few times, so it goes in clear looking like water, and as you boil it down, I think the sugars probably caramelize a little bit from the heat. Things concentrate down, you start getting darker colors, and it starts to look like this. Now when we're done boiling this off, it gets thicker, like you would think syrup would look like, and much darker than maple syrup. It's almost a mahogany color when it's boiled down to the right level.
How long does it take for each batch to get to syrup?
Now that's a good question, because what we end up doing most usually is we'll add to it and add to it and add to it, which we could just load it and then boil it down and then we'd know for sure, but basically we add to it and it takes us about 5-6 hours, I think, if we tend the fire well. Would you say that's about right, Thomas?
What's this?
Yeah. So about 5 or 6 hours to boil down all of our sap that we have, and then we'll bring it in. We never finish it out here. Yeah, you'll lose it too easily, too quickly.
It burns once it starts to
it
starts to reduce down. It'll burn in a matter of minutes. So you kind of have to watch it at that last stage. So we take it in and just put it in a kind of a medium-sized stock pot and finish it there, and then put it in jars.
And we've actually used different methods for boiling the sap over the years. We started off several years ago boiling this down with propane, and it was unbelievably expensive. We could definitely go buy our syrup for less than what we spent boiling it down.
The price of propane, right?
So yeah, that was propane. And then a couple years ago, we used a homemade rocket stove, and that worked really, really well, and it was very cheap. Problem was that you had to sit there and stoke that rocket stove constantly. So it was just, that's what you were doing all day long. You were just, just sit there, just load that firebox. And although it worked well, that was not really satisfactory. This year we tried this, and this is actually working really well. It's you can see an old cast iron boxwood stove. The top has been taken off. It lifts off, so it's built that way. And we have a what do they call these?
It's an insert for a chafing dish. They call them hotel pans. And this is a 4-inch full-size hotel pan, and you get it at a restaurant supply store for pretty cheap, or you can order them various places online. We just happened to have it, and this one was a little damaged anyway. The corner was kind of tweaked, so we decided to try it, and it's worked great.
One thing, when you have the open fire, we didn't have this issue when we started with propane, obviously, but you get ash and stuff like that coming up, and so we do actually have to kind of skim the ash out, because it does get into the product here as it's boiling down. Now, when we bring it inside to finish it, we'll actually run it through cloth, and it gets all, and anything that we missed with straining gets out, and then we boil it that down. We had to come across that the hard way because we tried to strain it when it was already boiled down, and that doesn't work so well.
It's the
Yeah.
thickness of it, right?
Oh yeah, it didn't work too well.
You lose a lot of your
Yeah.
syrup.
Yes, you do.
So it's better to strain it while it's thin, definitely.
Yeah.
But this is just a
Yeah.
old, very tight mesh strainer, and you just kind of periodically do that because stuff does fall in it, the ash.
We're getting towards the tail end of the tapping season for us, and actually right now a few of the trees are already starting to kind of get past their prime for sap production. And here I've got a sample of what we don't boil down, what we kind of consider past usefulness to us. And it's, I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but it starts getting kind of a murky look to it. Well, when it's good for boiling down, it looks like water. And this, of course, looks kind of like you maybe dropped something in it, dishwater or something like that, but it's not something we're gonna boil down. So this tree, we're gonna pull the tap on that, and we'll be done with that, and we'll actually look for some of the other trees where the sap is starting to look like this. Start with one of these other containers. Let's start with this one. This is a good one. Now we have a couple of different containers and spiles. They call these spiles, or you call them, spouts if you want to. This is a good setup here. We found these number 10 cans to work well. This tree is still giving us good clear sap. And these are my favorite type of spiles to use, and the can works the best of any of the containers that we've actually used. We have another setup over here which does work, and we've actually gotten quite a lot out of this system, but we ran out of spiles and we still wanted to tap some trees, and so this is just a piece of PEX tubing. We drilled a hole in and tapped that in, and by golly, it works. We didn't have enough number 10 cans, and so we used a milk jug. Now this is not the ideal container. It does work, but because it's not round, it will sometimes tip like that if you're not careful, and then you notice the drips are missing. And you come in the morning and you think you're gonna have a full container, and you find that it's just run down the side. So you do have to kind of watch that, especially if it's breezy outside, because it will catch the wind when it's empty and tip. We have also a variety of less than optimal sized containers, but they do work, and do pretty well with them. I was a little worried before I did this the first time that drilling holes in the trees were going to hurt them somehow, but it doesn't. If you girdled the tree with holes, then of course you would hurt the tree real bad, but probably kill it. But just a hole drilled in doesn't actually hurt the tree, especially if you come back the next year and drill a hole someplace else where you're not concentrating a bunch of wounds in one area to the tree. The plastic ones, they work. They're not as durable as the steel ones, but they do work well enough. I prefer the steel ones as far as durability and function go.
And we just drill these holes with, an electric drill, and when we take these out, you want to scrub them with a bottle brush to get all the goopy stuff off, and then they're ready to go next year. So is this clear in here?
It's clear. There just isn't very much of it.
Okay.
Now that might have been emptied recently. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be. So I'm just going to show, because we showed that other stuff that was kind of cloudy. This is getting a little bit, it has a little bit of color to it. You see that? It's clearer earlier on in the season. So this is kind of an
indicator
that we're getting close to the end, but we've gotten quite a bit this year. So it was a good year. There. So this is what we've gotten so far this year, which is actually quite a lot.
That's amazing.
Some years we get less than one of these.
Wow.
So I think
it's been a good year.
I think that we started early. I think there was just a lot of sap this year because we got the snow. And there was just more people who were interested in watching it and being diligent about gathering the sap and boiling it off.
Hey, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help a sister out.